It's Micki time, and Micki wants to talk a new Seattle starter pack. It's a Seattle Times survey suggesting that transplants to the city could use a leg up by getting these little swag bags from Seattleites on what they could use to survive. And Micki, no one better than yourself, a transplant from Texas, to tell us, what could you have used moving to Seattle?
I could have used a really good talking to before we came here, because when we did move here, it was temporary. My wife was recruited for only 3 months, and then we were going to go back to Texas, and that's why we left all of our furniture and our clothes there. But then, of course, Texas lost its mind, and we were like, okay, we're staying
Explain
here.
What you mean by losing its mind.
Well, some of the laws. My daughter identified as non-binary at the time, and we, and she wanted to play football, and they just didn't allow it, and it was just it was a little too much. And then, of course, some of the laws, some of the women's laws about women's health care that had come out. So we're like, you know what? I think we're going to be a little safer here. So we decided to stay, and we're very happy for it. Washington is home, and it's beautiful. But we had to go and spend about $500 at Goodwill on all the things that we should have had and should have been prepared for prior to moving here. Raincoat, rain boots, happy lights, scarves, gloves, wool socks. These are things we just didn't have. We were so unprepared for, we had no idea that like 75 could be warm.
Yeah, that's actually hot. I was sweating yesterday when it was 75 degrees. And Katrina Gashard, our news editor, you're a transplant from New York.
Oh, man.
What could you have used? I feel like you fit in really well.
I think I do. I just think it's mental, because the cold here is not like New York cold.
No.
The drivers are not like New York drivers.
No, they're
here.
not. And I lived in New York. Katrina and I found out that we both, even though she's from New York, we lived in New York at the same time and worked for the same company.
Oh,
wild.
How crazy.
Wild, yeah. We never saw each other. It's so
meant
wild.
to be.
But
what do you mean by drivers are different?
Well, for example, when I went to the DMV here, they're like, oh, we hope we're not from California because we can't take any more of those drivers.
Oh, they were even back talking California? Oh, wow. Well, that's
so I was like, I don't know what
tradition around here.
Tell me the wrong there.
But for example, it was wintertime when I moved here back in January of 2020, and there was a snowstorm, and I didn't realize that Seattle, Washington was not prepared for snow.
Like New York is.
I'm a New Yorker, so I learned to drive in the snow, and it was panicking me seeing people slip and slide and just not know how to properly drive or turn. And I'm like, what's going on
I didn't
here?
until I moved to Spokane, and of course it snows in Spokane every year, and so I had to learn in my 5 years there. So that's starter pack, number 2? So number 1, you need tolerance for people who are different from you. Number 2, you need a lesson in how to drive in the snow.
And
number 3,
wait a minute, you got to tell people that it does snow here. We had no idea it snowed here.
And it's a different type of snow.
It is. I mean, we're used to New York City snow because we lived in Brooklyn. I worked in Manhattan. We took the train. It didn't shut down when it snowed. But here, when it snows, I'm like, what do you mean you guys don't plow the snow? What do you mean streets shut down?
You know what's even worse that we experienced last year is the freezing rain that settles on the streets.
Oh, that was very unique.
And that is a great segue into the Seattle freeze.
Oh,
you gotta know.
Does that exist?
That really
Yes,
does
it does.
exist. The Seattle freeze. That's something that needs to be in a starter kit. You need a self-help book on how to get through that, because
that it's
people
not
are
you,
like,
it's them, right? Like it's not you, it's the Seattle freeze.
Right, it's the Seattle freeze. It's where people where you have a really hard time making friendships, and people were always nice about it. Like, let's get together, let's go have coffee, let's do this, and then you never hear from them.
Ghosted.
And what is so cute is that I did call up Capers, one of my favorite stores in West Seattle, and I spoke to them, and they said, in our welcome basket, if we were to put together a welcome basket, scarves need to be in there.
Yeah.
You got to have a good scarf. You got to have a good candle. Good candle,
I like
because
that.
it gets dark.
Yeah.
And so you want to light it up. You want your house to feel like a home. And then to help with the Seattle freeze, you just got to get out there. Join a kickball league. Join the Y. Join some of those groups.
We like
and
active friendships, not passive friendships.
Right.
We're more like, let's do something together so we
get
don't have
out.
to talk so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something really controversial.
Do it.
I think the starter pack should include an umbrella.
What?
Ouch!
No!
Out.
You're done. No,
Get
you're
out.
done. That's
Go
the
back
one,
to Marysville.
That's the one thing I learned here. Is my daughter came home and I said, well, it's raining. Do you want it to? She's like, do not give me an umbrella.
That's
she goes,
crazy.
one of the kids took an umbrella to school. They all made fun of him. Do not give me an umbrella. And I'm like, yeah, you guys don't use umbrellas here. And so now that's ingrained in me. And I'm like, I just have a raincoat.
I'm different that way. Born and raised here, and I say bring an umbrella because I'm not going to spend time doing this hair just for the mist and drizzle to ruin it all. So umbrellas for the Seattle Starter
Katrina,
Pack.
you?
Fight
Umbrella?
me, Sully.
No umbrella.
I'll fight you.
No umbrella.
Fight me.
Come on, our skin is Gore-Tex. Seriously, we have webbed toes.
Embrace the frizzle.
Come on,
Nah.
get into it.
No, the frizzle. I forgot. We call it frizzle because when it drizzles, my hair frizzles.
Drizzle the frizzle.
Sully, thank you, Micki.
Is
by
that
the
what
way.
Snoop was